We usually picture giving up as a long, exhausting fade-out. But failure doesn't work like that. It's not a slow leak, it's a sudden break. A quiet choice made in a single fraction of a second when the internal pressure simply gets too high. The first place we invite that failure is right at the starting line. People wait around to feel inspired before taking on a difficult task, but relying on motivation is like trying to harness the weather. The moment the alarm goes off at 4 in the morning and it's cold outside and your bed is warm, that feeling of inspiration completely evaporates. Motivation vanishes precisely on the days you need it most. The countermeasure is mechanical. You have to remove the decision-making process entirely. You build a rigid routine that forces you into action before your brain even has a chance to wake up and negotiate a way out. That means taking the absolute hardest, most uncomfortable task on your schedule and attacking it first thing in the morning. You hit the pavement or the gym while your emotional resistance is still offline. Mastering the start requires accepting that you won't always feel like doing the work. Building true resilience means operating on a strict, unbreakable system, especially when you feel absolutely nothing. Once you actually enter the execution phase of a massive physical challenge, time distorts. If you are going through a 130-hour military selection course, your brain cannot process 5 days of continuous strain. You experience it as thousands of individual agonizing seconds. Throw a human body into the freezing Pacific surf, link their arms together and add extreme exhaustion, the mind abandons logic. It enters pure fight or flight mode, screaming at you to seek warmth and safety. This is where you face the unguarded second. It is the exact moment when the physical suffering hits its peak and your brain offers you a totally logical, comfortable reason to just ring the bell and go inside. The math here is brutal. Over 130 hours, there are nearly 500,000 seconds. If you win every single battle against your own mind, but lose just one, the pursuit is over permanently. Surviving that moment requires a psychological override. You have to logically project yourself into the future, weighing the immediate relief of a warm shower against the heavy, permanent shame of knowing you quit when it got hard. Physical conditioning provides the capacity to suffer, but it doesn't decide the outcome of the trial. The final barrier is the mind's ability to outthink its own physiological panic in that one critical second. Consider what happens when someone attempts a 135-mile foot race through Death Valley, having never run an ultramarathon with exactly 4 days of notice. By mile 70, the physical toll is catastrophic. The runner's blood pressure plummets, his kidneys start to fail, and the simple act of standing up becomes impossible. Sitting in a folding chair, completely immobilized, he faces the ultimate unguarded second. His body is shutting down, and he has a perfectly valid, medically sound reason to quit and go straight to the hospital. Instead, he rejects the medical exit. He realizes that the temporary comfort of a warm bed will eventually fade, but the reality of quitting will haunt him for the rest of his life. By choosing to own that pain, he overrides his body's deepest survival alarms. He gets out of the chair, finds a way to move his wrecked legs, and finishes the remaining 30 miles. Conquering that single second permanently recalibrated the runner's understanding of his own biological limits. He left the desert with a new internal map of what his mind and body could actually achieve. But once you bypass the motivation traps and survive the physical trials, you face a much more dangerous threat. The greatest risk to a hardened mind is success. This graph shows how comfort impacts grit. As external success, money, and applause rise sharply, internal resilience plummets. To stop that decay, you must artificially cap your success, setting a rigid limit on comfort before forcing a harsh reset. We see this in practice when a highly sought-after speaker turns down millions of dollars in corporate engagements. Instead, he takes a brutal, grueling physical labor job paying $15 an hour just to get out of the spotlight. He chooses an environment completely devoid of applause. He parachutes out of planes into blazing forests to fight wildfires for days on end, sleeping in the dirt with zero audience. The ultimate goal is never to reach a comfortable finish line where the suffering stops. True mastery is building a mind that voluntarily turns away from peace and repeatedly chooses to walk back into the fire.